Have you guys seen? Latto has finally confirmed that she's pregnant. It's no longer speculation and the internet is going crazy. The people are calling her a bird and they're saying that she's the bird that laid the egg. But this video is not about her personal life because as much as we think we know, it is all speculation. If anything, this video made me want to delve into the topic of parenthood and why people decide to have children. Are people having the right conversations when it comes to having a child? And I wanted to focus specifically on finances. Is money enough to raise a baby? But before we get started, you're gonna have to do me a favor and click that subscribe button right now. What are we waiting for? If I was to start a family, there's a couple things that I would think about, but to make it easier and to give you a visual, because I'm a visual person, I'm going to introduce a table. The legs is what makes the table stable. So the first of these legs is finances, and this is extremely important to me because I feel like you need the resources, you need the income, you need the disposable income as well to be able to raise a child. Combined incomes is better than one. But I always like to think of it as well, God forbid my partner was to pass away. God forbid my partner was to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out. Do I have the finances to raise a child alone? Do I have the finances to raise a child in this economy, be comfortable and not feel like I am scrounging around for pennies? The second leg of this table is obviously having the family structure. Like having the right partner is critical. Third leg on this table would be the environment in which you're raising the child in, or the support. If I feel like I need a break, do I have someone to rely on? If you don't have that family support, do you have the resources to maybe get that? And the final leg of this table would be the emotional and mental capacity to raise a child. How are you regulating your emotions? If you feel like you're having an off day, are you going to project that onto your kids? But let's get into some clips. I really want to react to some things that I've been seeing on TikTok. Let's see what the streets are saying.
And if you have not acquired wealth, you have no savings, you have no foundational financial security, your child will in turn become a slave to the system, a labor slave. They will have to work 10 times as hard and work like a fucking dog. No human deserves to have to go through that. And that's why I'm so against people having kids when they are poor, because this world is literally built off of transactional labor. So it's just like, if you don't have the funds, maybe you being a parent is not the right thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it may sound like eugenics, but I don't give a fuck. That's how, again, because poverty, people don't understand, poverty is literally fucking traumatizing. And if you have to sit up there, nobody who has actually had to crawl out of the gutter would ever want their child to have to do that. Like, and the people who are willingly doing that for the sake of, I want to keep my kid, I want to be a mama so bad, you are sick.
So I have to agree with Miss Lady, because I think having a child when you don't have the financial resources or the financial infrastructure to raise a child is quite selfish, if I'm being honest. Kids don't ask to be born into this world. Kids are here because of a decision we make, a choice we make, and it is a selfish decision. We're not going to sit here and act like it's not. We want children because we want to feel more fulfilled, or we want children because we want to see versions of ourselves, or you and your partner. If you're going to bring someone into this situation, into what you have going on, you need to be able to set them up the best way you can. Nobody's saying you need to be a millionaire. I don't think that is a requirement to be a parent, but I do think it is a requirement that you provide the best type of foundation possible to give your child that advantage. We're not going to sit here and act like finances are not important, especially in this capitalistic society, chair. It's important, and you want to be able to afford your child the best possible outcomes. I feel like poverty is definitely putting your child at a disadvantage. Why? Because they have to work 10 times harder to get to the point where they're able to be comfortable, or to get to the point where they're able to no longer be in survival mode. And it's a real thing. I feel like when you're poor, you don't even really have the time to pour into your child, because you're so focused on trying to survive, so focused on trying to figure out when the next meal is. Should we say poor people shouldn't have kids? I feel like you guys are going to hate me. If I was Prime Minister, I feel like there would be an assessment in order for you to do before you want to have children. These are things that are just a no-brainer. Like, why do you not have kids? I mean, sorry, why do you not have money? Why is it that some people, when they find out they're pregnant and they don't have the money, they feel like, I'm gonna have money coming from the government? It's just not fair, if I'm being honest, to willingly go into that situation knowing that you're not able to support yourself and still go ahead with that decision. Who are you, and why do you feel like you can make that decision? And it's not even just about like, who are you, but how dare you bring a child into this world and not even have the financial stability to support said child? That's just not fair. It's not fair at all. And fight me about it in the comments. So the next clip I wanted to insert was of a woman talking about how she's battling this idea of becoming a parent because of the political and the economical climate of the world right now. And I felt like this was an interesting take. So we're going to take a listen and then we're going to hear my thoughts.
So TikTok recently has been feeding me so much child-free content, and I feel like the algorithm knows what age I am, because I am at that age where if I want to have children, if I decide to have children, this is where I need to start with the family planning, with the understanding what my life's going to look like, with the finances, everything that comes with that. And I feel like I'm in two minds. On the one hand, I feel like I'd love to have children. I'd love to be able to give them the life that I didn't have. I would love to be able to break generational curses and grow them up in a loving and amazing home where two parents are there and willing to commit. But on the other hand, I think that there are so many issues in the world and even practically that I just don't know if children is the best option. And what I mean by that is, like, yes, globally, we are going through a really tough time. There is the cost of living crisis. Wars are popping up here, there, and everywhere. And I'm worried about what that might mean for my child if I decide to have one. I also feel like, of course, we already know that the mental and physical load is going to be way more on mothers than they are on any other gender. And I do just feel like that is inevitably going to happen. And I don't know if I'm in the headspace to accept that fact yet. And I can't help but feeling as well that some of my worries are rooted more in the finance aspect of it all, because for me to think that in a few years' time I'm going to be able to have children on the salary that I am now, I just don't see it feasibly working. And part of that is to do with like the cost of living crisis and the issues that everywhere is facing right now in terms of being able to afford anything, basic needs. And I can't even afford a home. So how am I going to be able to have a family in like a rented apartment? I just don't. To me, that just doesn't seem right. And I feel like as young people, we've been sold this dream of like what a typical family should look like and all the things that you should have set up before you have kids. And now as young people, we're having like kids later and later and later because there is literally, we don't have any options. Like, we are told that this is what we need to have in place. We can't reach those places. There's like no platform for us to be on in order to like actually have those children. I know that some people say like, you'll never be ready for children. Like, you just have them and you kind of just figure it out as you go. And I fully appreciate that people do have children in those circumstances, but I just don't want to do that. And I can't decipher whether or not the reason I don't want children right now is because I don't feel mentally ready or I don't feel practically ready. And where does that fit now with what I'm going to do in the future? Because like time is a ticking. And like I said, if I'm at that age where I need to start family planning, how do I do that? Like, how do I actually feasibly do that? And I really want to hear from other people of whether or not they have had like similar kind of confusing messages and how they went about doing it. And it's an interesting thing too, because it's not like I have any close friends of mine who do have children and who I've seen it work for. It's feels like everyone in my life, at least, is in a very similar stage of kind of thinking about it, but not really knowing what the next steps are to that. So it's not like I've got any guidelines to follow. So if anybody has any advice, please do let me know, and let me know your thoughts on this whole child-free lifestyle.
Why I'm not thinking about having children at this age, this is a real thought that I have, which is why I feel like I can definitely resonate with her. I really do want to acknowledge her vulnerability and I guess applaud her on that, because these are like things that you have in your head, but I guess not you're too afraid to say it out loud, but it's like, I don't want to look a type of way if I say this out loud, but I really resonate with what she's saying, and I'm sure a lot of people my age, maybe even a bit older or younger, can resonate too. There's a part of me that's a bit, I guess, 50-50 with the, I guess, okay, so the part that I'm a bit unsure about is when she referred to, is this the right time to have children, especially where the world is going in terms of like the political climate. Those feelings are valid, but what the way I like to think about it is, I can only control what I can control, and that's the environment that I want to raise my child in. If the standard to have a child is to have the political climate be in a better place, I don't feel like there will ever be the right time for that, because throughout history, there's always been some crazy stuff going on. The older I get, I'm a big proponent in controlling what you can control, putting effort into things that you can put effort into. And I think it's really important to create that environment or that narrative or that world for yourself within the home, because you're not going to be able to control what politicians do. You're not going to be able to control what people outside of you do. You're not even able to control your partner. This next clip is about a mom who was saying that it's not a flex to not have a child past a certain age. And I felt like this was an interesting take.
When y'all be bragging about not having kids, I be genuinely trying to figure out what we're talking about. Like, what the fuck are we really talking about? Y'all don't understand that there are people that literally were made to be a mother. There are women that literally feel like their sole purpose of being on earth was to be a mom. So why do y'all be trying to make it seem like you're going to make somebody feel bad for being a mom? Granted, it is definitely a flex to be able to say that you're young with no kids. It's definitely a flex to be able to say nobody's dusty ass son trapped you with a baby, if that was the intentions, to trap you with a baby. I get that. But to try to make somebody feel bad for being a mom is absolutely insane, when a lot of us really pray for our children. And then it be the whole, oh, y'all can't do this with a baby, you can't do that, and you can't go here and you can't go there. Who can't? Because I be outside harder than outside be outside, okay? Like, a baby never stopped nothing. If anything, I feel like my life got so much fucking better when I did have a child. Granted, there's times when you are still definitely going to struggle, especially if you don't have like a support system and help from like the father or your family or anything like that. But I feel like God has placed a more significant amount of favor over my life since I became a mom. Like, when I tell you, sometimes money just comes out of the fucking sky. Sometimes money literally just comes out the fucking sky. Like, there's been times where I didn't even know how I was going to pay my electric bill, and then boom, money just literally fell out the sky. And I'm not talking about from the government. I'm just talking about just random situations where I just got blessed to be able to make things work, because I feel like I'm a good person and I'm a good mom. So with that being said, I just feel like it's definitely cool to be able to say that you're young with no children, you know, especially if you have plans for your life and you have a specific goal for yourself, because I know I always have. But to try to make somebody feel bad about being a mom is crazy, when a lot of us literally pray for our kids. Like, there are some moms that literally feel like their sole purpose of being on planet Earth is to procreate and to nurture children. And I don't know if it's ever dawned on you, but there are actually women out here who regret their kids. There are women who literally hate the fact that they have children, that are hanging on by a thin fucking strand. So to be on here trying to make people feel bad about being a mom when they're already on edge is crazy work, when it's really people out here harming their kids. It's really people out here killing their fucking children because they don't have support systems and the help that they feel like they need to be able to be a great mom. So just imagine somebody seeing your video and going to do something to their kids. Like, that shit never dawned on y'all. Like, I don't know. I just don't think that that's cool. Granted, like I said, it's 100% okay to be proud of the fact that you didn't let somebody's son impregnate you out of wedlock. But don't make people feel bad about decisions that they probably already feel bad about. Like, you know, like, I don't know. That shit don't sit right with me. I don't fuck with shit like that.
Going on TikTok, I don't see videos of people bringing down mothers or trying to make mothers feel bad for having children. That's a lie, child. because I have seen quite a few. But people are proud to have the choice to not have a child. That's what I've been seeing an uptake in. People being happy and comfortable and celebrating the fact that I don't have to have a child to have a fulfilled life. I don't have to have a child and feel like I'm tied down by motherhood, tied down by this person that I've had a child for, and they're no good. I feel like I've seen, if anything, an uptake in people celebrating the fact that they're able to pursue their goals, the fact that, sorry, I keep thinking that light has died. It's about to die on me. But anyways, certain things on TikTok or when I see online, you can never trigger me because you're not talking to me. If anything, I'm going to scroll and I'm going to leave you to rant there. Why will I get triggered by something that doesn't apply to me? It's ironic because in this video, I mentioned Latto, and yes, she is a topic of conversation and people are calling her a bird. But I don't think people are calling her a bird because she's having a child. I think people are calling her a bird because of the circumstance in which she's having a child. Secondly, I wanted to address her saying, when I became a mother, my life became 10 times better. And while I don't want to discredit her experience, that could be her case. I feel like that is dangerous rhetoric to be saying. Having a child does not change who you are. If anything, it intensifies it. And this is something me and my friend talk about all the time, because I was of the belief that when you have a child, you change because you become more focused on the child, building a life for that child, pouring into your child, really focusing on being a mother, focusing on being the best parent for your child. Oh, that light is dead. And I'll give you a few examples. For instance, there is an influencer. Her name is Natasha, and she has been killing it. She's had a child. She's lost weight. She's pushing more than she did before she had the child. And that's because Natasha was always somebody that was a hard worker. She was always somebody that was striving to be the best version of herself. On the other hand, you had people such as King Harris, the guy, T.I. and Tiny's son. I thought having a child would make him calm down, settle down. No, he's still doing the same stuff he was doing before. So this next clip was really important for me to include into this video because I think this is a part of motherhood that I do think people talk about, but I don't think people consider when having a child that this is something that they could fall victim to, or this could be their position.
I think one thing that's just really not spoken about a lot is losing your identity when you become a mum. I think a lot of people, they'll probably be thinking, what do you mean? Like, but those that get it. Like, mums, you get it. There's a lot of sacrifices that have to be made, like, and men just don't get it because let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Men do not have to change their lives as much as women do when they have kids, whether that be you're with your partner or your baby dad or whatever, or you guys are co-parenting. Their life does not change the same way that your life changes. Let's keep it real. As a mother, you have to sacrifice a whole lot. You have to sacrifice yourself, your body, your time, your patience, your love, your everything. And until you're a mum, you just will never get it. You will never, ever get it. So when people around you give you advice or whatever it is, like, and they're not parents, take it with a pinch of salt because they don't know what the heck they're talking about.
A part of wisdom is hearing other people's experiences and not having to go through that to, I guess, relate or empathize, sympathize, or simply just understand. Like when you do become a mother, a lot of your time and energy and effort comes to pouring into that child, especially where being women, you primarily, or you typically are the primary caregiver. This is a job that never ends. Like you don't get to clock in and clock out of being a mother. So I want to salute and shout out all the mothers out there. While I'm not in that situation, I feel like there are things that we can do to offset this feeling of loss of identity. And that is, like I said, having the community to be able to take the child when you need a break, doing things for yourself so that you can feel like yourself. I know that one thing that for me, I know when I become a mother, I don't want that to be my entire identity. Yes, I want to love on my child, but I want to do things for myself. I want to still make sure I'm getting my nails done, my hair done, and I'm taking myself out to eat. And wow, I just realized that the mirror was in the view this whole time. I'm so sorry, guys. As someone that is the oldest of four and has also worked in a primary school, kids soak up everything. And I think it's really important to be that example to your child of how mummy takes care of herself and how mummy is able to calm herself and how mummy is able to make herself feel good and what mummy is passionate about and what mummy is focused on, so that I guess it just allows the child to see you in a different light. Before I love and leave you, we have one final clip that's going to tie everything together. And this is just a parent talking about the things or listing the things that are required to have children.
Lady that came on the internet and asked all the moms if children are worth it. I'm going to give you a short and quick answer. The answer is no. They aren't. Now, before you mom crusaders come up in here trying to come for me, please understand that I am not Beyonce and I do like to cuss. But also, let me explain. Okay, the thing about it is children will be the greatest love you've ever known, experienced. Oh my gosh, it's like nothing you can even explain, right? But with every high, there is an opposite and equal challenge to go with it. And if you want to have kids and make them worth it, you need 3 things, okay? And you don't have to have all 3 things. You should, hopefully you can, but you don't have to have all 3 things, but you need to at least have 1 of the 3 and hopefully 2 of the 3, okay? They're not all weighted the same. 1, you need a good partner. Yes, I know, cliche. However, the case of the matter is you do need a good partner. You need somebody who's going to be a team player, an active player, not stressing you out, not taking away from your peace, not being a hindrance, and worse, a child themselves, okay? You do want a good partner, okay? Number 2, resources, i.e. money. Comes and goes. There's all these different programs, but when I'm talking about resources, I'm talking about money. You need to be able to pay for the things that you cannot get if you don't have a good spouse or a good partner, whatever the case may be, all right? The third thing, support system. If you have a support system, maybe your mom, maybe the aunts, maybe you have a good, huge tribe around you and you can, help with the kids and, lean on one another. But if you don't have these 3 things, no, the kids are not worth it. Do not risk your life for it. Do not risk your sanity for it. You need a few of those things. 1 to 3. Hopefully you have all 3, but if you don't have all 3, because most people don't, not a lot of people have all 3, and I'm going to tell you they're not weighted equally. The good partner is probably the heaviest, most weighted. Why? Because even if you don't have a support system, even if you don't have money, you have somebody who can figure it out with you. You have a team player. You have someone to help you through the trenches, because there will be trenches.
So this video is not about Latto. This video is about the conversation that her pregnancy announcement has started and the conversations people should be having when considering having a child. That is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have opinions, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up so I know what type of content to be pushing out. Bye.